Evening, everybody. Wanted to talk about a big match that's coming up. Not John and I, but of course, I want to talk about John and I too. But I want to talk about a big match that's coming up, and I wanted to talk a little bit about arm wrestling subtleties that I'd love for everybody just to have a look at and become more aware of. Just so you have a better feel of arm wrestling and really what's what and who's who. So the big match I want to talk about, so excited about it, Todd Hutchings versus Lachlan Adair. We just got this one up on ArmBet today, so if you're interested, you can jump in on the action. I think that the match isn't until the 8th of January. And all the info's on the site. I think it's a race to 4. So first to 4 wins. They're going to use a WAF table. They're using WAL rules. And yeah, it's awesome. So who are these guys? I've arm wrestled both of them. I arm wrestled Lachlan last time I went down to Australia. And at that point, he'd only been arm wrestling I don't even think he was 2 years in at that time. He was kind of their up and coming, everyone knew he was going to be awesome. He knew he was going to be awesome. But he'd only started. He was brand new. We arm wrestled left hand. I don't know whether he had a tweak in the right or something, but I arm wrestled Ryan Scott, who was considered number 1 in Australia on the right at that time. And I really believe that Australia has come a long way since then, notably the Brisbane club, and super notably Lachlan Adair. Because, there's a few measuring sticks out there for how good this guy is. And you love him, you hate him, you're a fan of him, whatever. Everyone knows Ryan Bowen. My opinion about Ryan is he's a tremendous arm wrestler. I think he's really good. If you're a big fan of arm wrestling, you have to understand the amount of work and dedication this guy's put into the sport, and you have to see how really good he is. And he's more of a known quantity just because he's had more interactions with North Americans. He's gone out a bit more of a known quantity. And Lachlan completely destroyed him. Like, completely different level. I remember when I pulled Lachlan, I was really impressed by him. His overall physique it's ridiculous. Overall, his overall fitness is stupid. The guy's strong everywhere. And I think he still is. But when a guy is strong like that everywhere, it really speaks to their potential. You just got a strong human being to work with. And it's my opinion that he's just a clean, healthy guy. So that speaks to even more to how much potential he has. I think that over COVID, I think that he went under the tutelage of the great Giannis Amelins. I think Giannis, when he went down and worked with those guys, I think he really learned a lot from him. And I think from what I understand, he's fallen into a lot of his training systems and methodologies. And, you watch him arm wrestle now, everything's perfect. Clearly he's come a long way. Clearly he's the number 1 dude in Australia. And then you got Todd Hutchings. What can you say about this dude? He just keeps getting better. I don't know how old Todd is now. Is mid 50s, late 50s. Just a side note, watching Voice of Arm Wrestling the other day, they had a little clip on arm wrestlers maxing out around 40 or whatever. And I would just quickly interject that while that might be true in some cases, if you're in professional arm wrestling, it's absolutely not the case. It's absolutely just not true at all. There's no reason why you can't continue to improve as long as you've got the will to do it. And I don't know if we've found that age limit yet. I've personally witnessed, in my opinion, someone have a peak in their mid-60s. In my opinion, Crazy George was probably the best that he ever was in his early to mid-60s. That's what I believe, knowing him quite well. And that's a guy who wasn't doing anything, okay? So there's a whole lot of reasons why that can get pushed and pushed and pushed. Anyways, Todd Hutchings, how good is he? He beats everybody. You beat Todd Hutchings, you are on the very, very, very short list internationally, like in the world. Like, you beat Todd Hutchings, and yeah, you're on a very short list of people. So it's a huge match. It's a huge match for Australia. It's a huge match internationally. It's a huge match for Lachlan, and of course, it's a huge match for Todd. One that I'm super excited about. One that I'm certainly going to clear my calendar for and make sure that I get to watch it live, no matter where it is. I don't know if it's going to be pay-per-view or anything yet, but guaranteed, no matter what, that's a match I'm watching. Yeah. Anyways, so now I just want to talk really briefly about arm wrestling and perception about the sport. And there's been a lot of words said by the great John Brzenk. You know, he's made a lot of claims. He made a video where, you know, he points out my devious tactics, you know, where I fight, you know, and that's what I do. I don't hide that. I don't try to downplay that this is a massive part of the game. Fighting, you know, trying to get what you want, trying to get what you deserve, trying to establish any kind of a position that you can work off of. Because there's truths in the sport, and it's a sport of fractions of millimeters, fractions of angles, milliseconds of movement. You know, our sport is very, very small. And the best arm wrestlers are subtle and are operating in ways that a lot of their best work is done before the go starts. A lot of the sport happens before the go starts, and that's just the truth. No way to really sugarcoat it. It's just a reality. And this is one of the reasons why when people talk about rules, that a lot of the rules are designed in sport to actually minimize this. It's one of the reasons why I've come up with freedom rules, the consent start, the consent method to start matches. I believe when we finally get there, that it will elevate our sport to another level. That's my opinion. But what I would ask for arm wrestling fans: find a great arm wrestler, find great arm wrestlers, and watch the match. And you don't have to watch the whole match, but what you really want to focus on is probably the 2 seconds before and after the match has started. Because I'm going to tell you that these, and at 2 seconds after, normally it's like you don't even have to go that far. 2 seconds before and like a second after the go is said. This is the most important 3 seconds of the entire sport. The most powerful things that you can do is achieve subtle advantages in this department. I've been accused of all sorts of things. I think that you might be surprised when you go back and look at a lot of my matches. You might be actually surprised where a lot of the people that I go up against actually false start against me. And I'm not blaming anybody. This is not me blaming referees. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just saying this is a reality. Some people will talk openly about it. John Brzenk will pretend like he's a saint, okay? And it's just simply not true. I mean, all of us have learned from John, okay? All right, like we learned a lot of this stuff from John Brzenk. There's probably not a more subtle, fast starting arm wrestler than John Brzenk, because John Brzenk understands control, and he understands he doesn't have to flash a person to the pad. He just has to take his advantage right at the beginning. Quick example, okay? Quick example. What we got? Quarter speed. Second match. John was better than me that day. But if you look at so many of John's matches, go quarter speed. Tell me how many times he gets away with starting early. Tell me. Like, hats off to you, John. Hats off. Very subtle. Very subtle. Anyways, love the sport. Embrace the sport. Don't call for the policeman. Just do it better than the other guy. That's it. Expect violence. Expect bloodshed. Expect to get punched. Arm wrestling is a miniature fight. A referee is there to call the rules as best as they can. I'm super happy we got probably the best referee in the business, Bill Collins. I'm happy with this rule set. This rule set is not designed for me. It's designed for arm wrestling. If I was designing my own set of rules to win, it wouldn't look anything like this. Anyways, have a great night, guys.